Arnold Investment Company.
Yes.
Well, he's a consultant, not a company. He brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1632, October 3rd, 2025. 90 degrees on this day in 1997, and just the year before, it was 26 degrees in 1996. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor.
Rick Capcella has been kind enough to join us again in the studio, but he's on a time limit because he's stirred up quite a controversy with his documentary, which aired last night, called The Precarious State. And Rick, I left with a couple of thoughts, the main one being the condition of Minneapolis in particular is much worse than I thought.
Based on what you saw?
Based on what I saw. For example, I haven't driven through Uptown for maybe a year. I was shocked. It's closed. There is no Uptown.
Right.
There is no Uptown. I came to the realization that I'm going to blame a couple of things I'll talk about when you have to leave. But I blame the failed academy for producing the likes of Robin Wansley. I'm sure she was taught a great deal of oppression and victimhood. And I blame the caucus system. There was probably a day in Minneapolis when Dad said, I'm going to take a break from mowing the lawn. And he went to the caucus, and he knew the people there, and they shared similar values, and they had an American outlook on life. And then he would cast his vote for somebody he knew. And today, it's all Jason Chavez has to do is to get 15 like-minded people to show up at a caucus on a July afternoon, and they rally around him. Then he gets the endorsement, and then that same dad who no longer goes to the caucus, he sees the DFL signs all September and October, and he votes for Jason Chavez. Mm-hmm. We should. I don't know how you get rid of the. How do you get rid of the caucus system? Legislatively, I wonder?
Legislature can do it, for sure. The parties can do it also. The parties could do it themselves. They'd have to both do it, I think. But
you got to return to just primaries only.
Primaries would be a real logical way to go.
Because the dad, he can take 20 minutes to go vote. Is he going to take an entire day to go to a caucus? Now, Kenny and I were talking prior to your entrance, and Kenny thinks the answer is the revitalization of the caucus system.
No, I'm talking about, like Carol said, game the system, play the caucus game until we can get it changed. I hate the caucus too, but we've got to deal with it while it's here. That's all I pretty much agree with you, Joe, except let's game it first.
What feedback have you gotten? It's under 24 hours, but I bet you've gotten incredible feedback.
Yeah, it's been stunning. I'll tell you, I have I want to share with you just
I'll put it this way,
text.
Joe. When I called Rick this morning after you called me, I said, well, way to go, bleep hole. And he said, well, you too, huh?
Just the latest in a long line. Take a ticket. That's funny. There's a friend of mine over the years who wrote to me this morning. He's a senior, He's an educated guy. He wrote, and this is what he said to me. He had no idea. He thought this was not just mind blowing, but he was saying that. I know what he did this with me, and here it is. He just right out of the gate, such a.
You're not finding it.
I know.
You?
I'm not finding it fast enough. I'm sorry. I don't want to burn your time.
What? And Rick, what stunned me was a conversation that you had with somebody else a short while ago. Is How many people are so unaware of what's happening? And I think this was a big step into opening people's eyes.
Yeah, this is what he said. I paid no attention to the city council, who's on it, and what authority it has. Sadly, I didn't even know that we were in this particular ward. I was all set this morning to dive into the credentials of that person. You know, he said, but he was frustrated himself. He just gotten to a point. Frankly, in this case, this guy he would be a Republican for sure. And, he's like, I'm not going to get one. I'm not going to get one. So he's kind of mailing it in on the Democratic, options.
Do we know who represents him?
Yes.
Who is it?
Paul Masano, which is that's not DSA for sure.
No, but the other astonishing thing you revealed last night is the high percentage of time that so-called DFL members vote with DSA members.
Isn't that a shocker?
So the struggle in Minneapolis seems to be, if there are people who want to have the traditional, conventional, historical DFL that we knew, they're going to have to speak up and draw distinctions between themselves and the DSA. I don't see that happening.
No. It is not happening. One of the most holy crap things that I saw in the course of doing this was there's a group within the DFL, a couple of women DFL strong positions with the organization, had put together a deal, Protect Our Platform. You guys can look this up at some point, protectourplatform.org, okay? And what they did was they just laid out, hey, this is what the DSA stands for. And over here, this is what the DFL stands for. Okay, these things should not be in the same group.
They
should not. Oh, they're very much. And so their notion of Protect Our Platform was to get a motion at the last convention that would get them out of the DFL. Right, get them out of the DFL. Well, I'm told that the leadership of the Minneapolis DFL skews alignment. They're all DFL, but they align heavily with DSA.
Let's
and they didn't let that motion be heard even to extract the DSA from the DFL. Wouldn't allow it to be heard.
Let's stick to what we learned last night.
Yes, sir.
You were able to put a microphone in front of Aisha Chugtai, who literally said she doesn't care about business.
Yeah. So I want to be clear. She never agreed. She did agree to talk to us, and then she canceled. Right. So did Wansley. Same deal, and canceled. And then that sound that you saw was on Wedge Live, a podcast. Okay,
all right.
Yeah, that's where we got it.
It should alarm the people of Minneapolis that Aisha Chugtai, a committed Marxist, very committed to it.
She will identify herself as a socialist. Yeah. Wansley's the one who identifies herself as a Marxist.
Okay, Chugtai, committed socialist. Is the committee chair of the budget committee.
That's correct.
That's a $2 billion city budget that is in the hands of a young woman who has no particular ideology that would suggest a knowledge of America. That's how I would wrap it up. No belief in competition, capitalism, entrepreneurship. No, she's a proud renter. No belief in anything except bringing about what we've on this show been calling for 25 years, the mystery, bringing about a country that is not the America we grew up in.
And Joe, her only real job, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rick, was being a nanny for Ilhan Omar.
Well, I don't know her full background, but I have heard that is a job that she had before she came into the city council.
And I can't blame the failed academy for her ideology because she has very limited educational background, as opposed to Wansley, who has a number of degrees that are meaningless and probably was exposed to a great deal of oppression and victimhood. She was coached pretty hard. I'm very comfortable in saying that in her meaningless college degrees, what she learned to do was hold success in suspicion. And these people have no interest. You had a long part of the documentary with a guy who was the head of what was called Mint Properties.
Oh, yeah, Jim Rubin.
Jim Rubin, an apartment owner, and how his business is collapsing. And there was a great scene of an empty office full of abandoned mint property signs,
Yeah.
which have had to come down because there
And
is.
all of us are familiar with that area. It was a once beautiful neighborhood.
And very familiar with Mint Properties. Those buildings are all over the uptown between Lake Street and Franklin, and between Hennepin and Lindale, over.
But what Ruben discovered is that he's been dealing with a city council that has no interest in him succeeding.
They won't talk to him.
No interest in him succeeding, even though he's housed people, he's employed people, he has kept buildings maintained. They don't care because that's not in their purview with their distorted ideology of what this country is.
Joe, if you're on the city council, are you gonna talk to a guy that has 78 buildings, 1,500 units, housing for 15,000 people? Boy, he goes to the top of my list.
I'm not only going to talk to him, I'm going to pick up the tab.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yes.
Where are you personally with this? You live in Minneapolis.
It's been a stunner. I mean, I did, and I will tell you the truth. I mean, this is I don't know that we talked about this last time I was here, but a good friend of mine who worked with me on this early on, just kind of passed this data to me on the Democratic Socialists and their kind of how they're implicated in all of this. And I looked at it and I thought, geez, I don't. This would make it completely. This would make it political. I don't want to go there. I want to figure out how to do this story without getting into that, because that will become noise to too many people and bait for too many people, and it'll become more of a distraction. So I put it down. And then about 4 months later, I picked it up again. And I'm like, damn, this is showing up everywhere, but to resist. Picked it up a third time, and it was about a year in. Okay, and this is out of a 2-year run. And it's like, look, you just got to buck up. You got to just tell the story.
You have no choice.
As it is.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it would have been really just a failure to try to walk around it. You can't.
When we had you on Monday, you suggested, I'm not trying to put you on the line here, you suggested you found some hope. I didn't see any.
So the hope is rooted in the belief that, listen, you yourself here told me when I sat down, you did not know a lot of this stuff. You are a preacher, an evangelist in this kind of space.
I just haven't been to Uptown lately, and seeing it in your film was astonishing to me.
Yeah. Well, the hope is that when people can see it, and the it is Uptown, the it is, my Democratic farmer labor vote for the city council actually votes with socialists more than most of the socialists vote with socialists.
Yeah.
That's where there can be hope. If people are paying attention, if they're sitting up, if they're looking into this now, and like this guy who called me and said, wait a minute, who's my ward person?
I think he's inexcusable, and I think he's the problem, generically speaking, that there's no excuse for somebody like that who doesn't even know who his council person is. So, sorry for your friend.
Well, it happened. It's a lot. I don't think that's uncommon.
It isn't. I said generically. It's a fault. Voters have let this happen.
Can I help Joe answer Joe's question? Are you willing to share what you shared in the other office, Rick, a few minutes ago?
Just about
not really?
the lack of awareness or knowledge about the DSA?
Yes, because I think that's telling.
Yeah. Well, early, just kind of going around the state, really, and meeting with business and other groups to try to get folks engaged in helping us make this a reality, right? And so I end up in outstate Minnesota, and I've got a CEO of a company, a fairly big company, and he says he'd like to meet with me and talk about this, and he invites a lot of community leaders from this smaller town around his boardroom, right? And they all come in, and I'm showing them what I'm learning, which back then, over a year ago, was a deck, right? And I'm walking them through it. And In the deck, about halfway, I introduced this
What's
notion.
deck mean?
The deck, the presentation deck.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And I'm walking them through the pages. And I do this deliberately. I did it deliberately everywhere I went. A first reference would always be to DSA, just to see if anybody knew what I was talking about, right? And almost nobody ever knew what I was talking about when I said DSA, okay? And this was no difference. And this captain at the other end of the table put up his hands and said, hey, come on, Jargon. We like to help you here. What are you talking about?
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's Democratic Socialists of America.
Right.
That's what the DSA is. He goes, oh, go ahead. So I get in one more sentence. Hands come up again. This is my favorite story. And in his head, right, what's happening is what it shows. He goes, so wait a minute. We're talking about socialists? I said, yes, sir. And he says, okay, go ahead. He stops me again, third time. Okay. And he says, wait, are we talking about socialism? Okay, now I want to say, I think that's where most people are. They have no idea.
Yeah.
And this is a smart guy running a big-time business that's unaware.
You a number of times asked people in the documentary, have you read the DSA platform? I have. It's on my desk. If everyone in Minneapolis would read the DSA platform, it's my hope that the DSA would go away.
Okay, Joe, thank you. That was you just channeled God through that statement, because here's what I want to tell you. Because yesterday, so we're writing a piece on this right now, because yesterday, literally on my way to the program, on my way to the program, I'm picking up the platform, the DSA platform that I know well, and I'm just looking at it and thinking how I might use it in that live thing we did last night. And I'm looking at it online, and all the incendiary stuff. You know, we want the release of all incarcerated people.
Right.
We want to close all jails.
No
right?
prisons.
All this stuff.
No police.
Yes, exactly. They took it all out.
Who's they?
Whoever controls the DSA USA website.
Oh.
They took those lines all out. Every one of them that were in my thing last night, in that doc, where we said these are the things, and they just basically what they really did was they took the platform, they pulled it out, put it on a shelf. We went in the Wayback Machine, though. We found it, and we're going to put them all up at precariousstate.com. Okay, they took them out, and they honestly, if you look at it now, they call it a program. They don't call it a platform. They call it a program. And
I got the platform.
It's a very kind of icon oriented. It's like a new age Schoolhouse Rock. Is what it comes across as. And I think we know that it was there on September 9th. It was all gone on September 10th by the Wayback Machine. And by September 11th, there were some big pieces coming out on Mamdani, and I'm just thinking,
Mamdani has to be the hero of these people.
honest to God, right?
Well, New York's going to learn the hard way. You had a gun battle, a video of a gun battle in Minneapolis that, to my knowledge, had never been revealed before.
Yes.
I hadn't seen it on the news. I hadn't read about it. Was it 19th and Nicollet?
Yes, sir.
What was the story behind that?
That was a retaliatory strike. The day before, there was the murder of a drug dealer on that corner by another drug dealer. So 19th and Nicollet has apparently been a place where there's been ongoing, for years, heavy drug trading going.
All right.
Okay? Jim Rubin himself has sent me images from his own truck driving through. He says, in the dock where he says, it's like people, they just drive through here and the dealers come from either side and they make their transaction and they go. That was.
He said they waited in line.
Yeah. They waited in line. And
It was a drive-through,
Yeah. It was just.
And now
it's
Rubin
crazy.
is the fellow who owns so many properties.
Right. And he's got several of them right there at that intersection.
Right. What is his future? Is he trying to hang on? I couldn't gather what his future
No.
might hold.
Out of state. Out of state, yeah.
Yeah. He says no more spending money in blue states. That's what he said. No more spending money in blue states. He's cashing out. He's sold third, and he's going to sell all, and he's going to invest in red states.
Before we started the show, you alluded to something. I hope you repeat it. I think we were jawing about what is it these people want. What is the end game for Robin Wansley and Chugtai and and Jason Chavez, and you had an answer.
Yeah.
What do they want?
I'd say, it is nothing short of a new world order.
In other words, you're talking about the mystery without perhaps being aware of us having talked about the mystery. It's a mystery. They want a different world.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No. And
how do they see that as being a better world?
It's not, it's the way they characterize it, the way they sell it is that it's everybody's more equal. Everybody's more equal economically. Everybody's more equal. It has nothing to do. There's no talk about effort or risk and reward. There's nothing like that. It's let's take what exists and let's recast it so everybody's equal.
Well, the end result of that is the complete elimination of your individual freedom.
Yeah.
The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. We're shrinking as it is. And I don't doubt you for a moment. The mystery is exactly that the government will run everything. Therefore, you no longer have freedom. You are not a sacred individual. You are a ward of the state. That's what they prefer. And it has to be eliminated. It has to be defeated. What's part 2 of this documentary going to be? Because let's go here.
Get
2 years from now.
Jesus, it took you long enough.
Come on, let's go. Took you 2 years to do this. You got to have the new one out in 6 months.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Do you have plans for a second?
We're definitely looking at where else this can go and how we can keep bringing this one along. Because if you just throw up this volley, right, and you walk away, it'll lose steam, interest, and frankly, I mean, the sadness that I see, and I've talked to these people, even getting to where we've gotten already, who are leaving, who are absolutely positively leaving.
How could you blame them?
I know.
So I'm glad you brought that up because one of the people you interviewed, which I did not know they were going to be involved with this, I know personally, and I called them this morning. And basically, when you start losing the people that actually have a vested interest in wanting an improvement here, when they're done, that's when you're in real trouble.
Yes, sir.
And Pat Garofalo, another person involved that's a friend of the show, had one of the best quotes of your entire piece, I thought. And he said, so many of these people that are in climate denial, well, those same people are in fiduciary denial right now because that's what's happening.
Well, what's going to happen when Chavez and Chugtai and Wansley and the rest, what's going to happen when they run out of my money?
Oh.
They can only bring this about by continuing to take your money. And then pretty soon your pockets are empty. Now where are they?
Right.
Well, they're just going to keep raising taxes.
Well, but how are you going to pay it? The jobs will leave.
The well's dry.
The entrepreneurs will leave. The competitors will leave. There will be no money.
How many council members are up for re-election?
All of them this year.
Yeah. Every single one of them. There's 12.
That's rare because of redistricting.
Yeah, but
happens.
who's running against them?
Well, see, hey, that's a big deal, what you just said right there. So in the Chavez example is a great one.
He's an embarrassment.
He's safe as he could possibly be. He has one real opponent in this who showed up extremely late. And everybody that I talk to around this space says he's very safe. Very safe.
His opponent made his own signs? Kind of a thing?
Is it possible that Chavez, I think it's Ward 9, the Central City, basically.
Yeah, I should know that off the top of my head.
And Powderhorn Park. Is it possible that the majority of the homeowners in his ward share his views?
Well, that also a very good question. It is. See, this is a thing, and this is what I'm saying. I don't know. I say this is where the hope is that people will get this and they'll react appropriately or correspondingly to have more control over where things are going, or not. And so
because all Chavez has to do is show up at his caucus, 15 lunatics that support him, give him the endorsement, the signs go up, and then people just vote DFL.
Well, I don't want to criticize the people in Ward 9, but looking at a map, how many of them are actually going to the poll is what I'm wondering.
Far more than go to the caucus.
But
caucus,
Joe,
yeah.
you've got some pretty shitty down and out neighborhoods in Ward 9, and I live down there just south of Ward 9.
So I know Chavez has that place that is, at 19th and Nicollet. Actually, there are 3 wards that kind of come together.
Yep.
And he's on the east side. He's on the east side of Nicollet.
He's probably a proud renter too. I don't know, but I'm betting he is.
Could be.
Because the socialists like to call themselves proud renters, as though home ownership is somehow to be held in contempt, because that suggests private property and ownership, and that flies in the face of true Marxism in Wansley's case. Mm-hmm. It just flies in the face of it.
The defund the police movement that, and I know you highlighted in this piece, Rick, I think that really did get some significant backlash. But when you talk to O'Hara, that's a guy that just looks defeated. And I don't know if you've got that sense too when you
Well, he, the guy is, he is really impressive in person. I will tell you that he is. I've been impressed by him. He is strong, and he's also he's somebody who is fairly pragmatic. He makes it very clear that either this is going to turn around, we're going to get what we need to build the force we need, we're understaffed dramatically, or, as he says, he had a progressive mayor in Newark. He said it wasn't like this, though.
Well, he can't get what he needs with this city council.
No, he can't. That's
and
proven.
they have enough socialists on the council to override any Fry veto, for example.
It's happened repeatedly.
Yeah. And Fry, unfortunately, has not developed enough testicles to put a stop to this. He just rides along with it. And he's still a better choice than Omar Fateh. But if you get Omar Fateh as mayor,
God bless
you're
you.
done. It's a ghost town. You're done. It's over. There is no hope because he would be deeply involved, however, allegedly, he would be deeply involved in continuing fraud.
I have one question for you about Erin Fitzgerald, the real estate investor. She seemed to give off a sense of hope. Did you get that from her? She's currently buying dilapidated and buildings that have lost a lot of value in some pretty rough neighborhoods, and she seems to have hope. What is driving her?
So, she is an interesting individual. I have actually personally not met her. She was interviewed by some of my team, but I've gone through all of the interviews, et cetera. And what I found striking, so here's somebody who's been in the commercial real estate industry for a good period of time.
Yeah.
And she has developed an extraordinary network, and she's been able to bring that network together and leverage that network in a way that a lot of these buildings that are being bought for pennies on the dollar, she has coordinated buyers from around the country, and she comes in with them as a partner. And I think she's been very astute in how she
She's as good as it
involved.
gets. She's as good as it gets.
What strikes me about that interview with her, though, is at the end of this piece, and her actions to date have been, I would say, the definition of hopeful, right? Because what matter what the cost, you're not putting money down if you think it's over,
right?
At the end of this piece, she starts talking about all the things she's learning. So she's brought these folks together, who do this all around the world, really, right? They're teaching her as well, and she's talking about, what we just found in Puerto Rico is this. What we just found here is that. And these are places where we're looking at starting to make more investments. And I'm thinking, wow, she's become quite educated, and she's become quite clear on, how to win over the long run, and is wondering if this is the way.
You got a split?
I do.
All right.
Here's the deal, though. Do you know what he did for us today?
I don't.
He's pushing off Tim Pawlenty for us.
Well, I would too.
I want everybody listening to jump or rewind back to exactly 44, the timestamp on the program last night. And that's where you learn some really interesting and shocking things about the way the Minneapolis City Council voted. And you both talked about it briefly there in the last few minutes, but it's right at 44. And if you're a resident of Minneapolis, you should be extremely worried.
Can you find this 44 mark?
I will. How about we break, because I know Rick's got to run.
And you find that.
And we'll play it when we come back.
Thank you very much. Let me tell you that...
you need a lawyer?
Well... if you don't now, you're going to at some point, and Bradshaw and Bryan is the best you can do. You need a team to be on your side in the event of an accident, Bradshaw and Bryan hopes you're never in an accident, and so do I. But if you are, you need a team. Bradshaw and Bryan are there to help you. Insurance companies and adjusters can be difficult to deal with. Mike Bryant has been recognized as one of Minnesota's best lawyers, recognized by Minnesota Law and Politics. That's the Bible of such things. I hope you're never in an accident, but if you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant at 800-770-7008 or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Your case evaluation is free, of course. And Bradshaw and Bryant says, don't be part of the problem. Don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
He's still waiting for it anyway.
Jeez.
Justice, and the Souchere.
Oh, Joe, we love you. Hey, how about this? You know what? If you're thinking about getting a better, healthy life, I cannot recommend my friends at Awaken180weightloss.com to help you solve those issues. You know what? It's a proven weight loss program that's absolutely built for anyone. That's right. Awaken180weightloss.com. That's the website. It's worked for over 800,000 people. No fasting, no workouts, no medication. You eat to lose weight. That's right. It's a clear daily plan, no complicated tracking or counting. There's a convenient app that you can download on your phone. It's one-on-one weekly coaching for accountability, and your coach can even help you pick out restaurant menu items. It's the at-home program built for any lifestyle. You can still go on vacation. You can still go out. You can still tailgate. You can still have drinks. There's thousands of recipes so that meals don't feel like diet food, and your energy level is going to skyrocket. I'm chief among them. So see it for yourself. Awaken180weightloss.com, 180. Or give them a call today at 844-346-1800, awaken180weightloss.com.
At the 44-minute mark of precarious state, you hear the following.
Okay, here we go. Cue the talent and...
For sit-down interviews with each of them. 2 initially agreed and then canceled. The other simply never responded. But the question remains, how has the DSA managed to push through so many extremist proposals? So we brought in a mathematician to analyze how every member voted on every issue last year. And what we found is startling. Take a look at the numbers. It takes 7 out of 13 votes to pass a resolution by majority. Last year, mainstream Democrats, the DFL, aligned with the socialist DSA as a majority 85% of the time or more. A supermajority, which overrides mayoral vetoes, requires 9 out of 13 votes. Mainstream Democrats aligned with socialists 69% of the time or more. And get this, the council president, Elliott Payne, who ran as a mainstream Democrat, voted with the socialists 93 to 98% of the time.
But that's amazing. That's a powerful visual of, is that one party? Is that 2 parties? What is their true affiliation? Or are they saying what they need to say to get in the door, and maybe there's a different agenda?
Stuart Ackerberg is a lifelong Democrat.
Yeah, they're saying what they need to say to get in the door.
Yeah, and then voting the socialist agenda.
Where are we? A former newsman who's doing some good work, Rick Capicella, and I thought that was a great documentary. I thought he had facts, he had statistics, he had graphs.
Yeah.
He also needs the Wi-Fi password. I'll be right back.
So this Rick Capicella, who I had not met prior to Monday, and he was kind enough to come in today, he puts together this documentary, and pretty much the GL crew was very familiar with what he was talking about. We've been talking about the same failings for years, but the GL crew was, I'm speaking for all of us, we were as astonished as the next person at how bad it really is. And it's bad to the extent, and so we say it's bad. What do we mean by it's bad? Well, here's what I mean by it's bad. We have governing the city a group of people who either don't care or don't understand that the economy is the engine that drives Minneapolis, and the economy of Minneapolis is the engine that drives Minnesota. These are people who ideologically are not focused on success of individuals.
I told you before, Joe, the Wansley and Chugtai sound bites that he had were astonishing to me in their childlike whatever it was, and the fact that they just have no clue how to run I wouldn't let him run Mandan, North Dakota, where I came from, let alone Minneapolis.
No.
It's stunning.
And what I thought, well, I can't blame the failed academy for Chugtai. Chugtai has no educational background. I would blame the failed academy in the case of, for example, Wansley, who has a succession of meaningless degrees. And by meaningless, I'm not trying to be denigrating. By meaningless, I mean she has a number of degrees in subjects that you can't flunk. And given my knowledge of the failed academy, I would assume she did hear quite a bit of oppression talk, victimization talk. And as a black female from Chicago, she was probably very amenable to be positioned as an oppressed individual, and that she believes Marxism is her way out of that. That's never worked anywhere in the world. because what Marxism does is challenge the very soul of your individual freedom. And she would think nothing of removing that from you. I don't think that's an exaggeration. These people are the wrong people to be running the city if you want the city to be reflective of an American ideal of success, moving up the ladder, getting ahead, competing, entrepreneurship, having a secure and safe city, counting on police. All of the traditional virtues that we would attach to successful American life are held in contempt by the likes of Robin Wansley. I don't think that can be disputed. She has no identity whatsoever with the hardworking men and women who are trying to own their home, pay their bills, and expect to be safe from crime. She has no identity with them whatsoever. And I want to be hopeful. I want to see hope. I don't see it.
Chugtai has this childlike ignorance. I'm trying not to be insulting. It's hard not to be. About the life and the welfare of uptown Minnesota, uptown Minneapolis, where she thought the former uptown, which was extremely successful,
very active,
not only good for the neighborhood, but also a destination. And she thought that since it was a destination for people that don't live in the area, that it was some kind of false economy. And when I lived there, the only people that would move out of a location were people that could no longer afford the rent, and somebody would move in immediately, and business was good. It was really good.
That's a very good take on what she said, and then add this additional take to it. Because she thought this was some sort of playground for rich suburban kids, she then doesn't care that it folded.
Right. And now she thinks
there you are.
She thinks it's in a rebuilding process. She looks at all of those boarded up storefronts, and it seems like it's every single one of them, and thinks this is part of rebuilding. Well, no, you're wrong. It's not rebuilding.
No,
it's dead.
It's dead. And she knows nothing about rebuilding.
I was talking to a commercial real estate person this morning, and they said, here's all you need to know. If a freaking Apple store can't make it,
right,
you're in real bleeping trouble.
That's the only Apple store I've ever been in. And like Joe said, I was shocked to see it closed. And then she said that locals didn't go to Uptown. And
well, she's wrong.
Are you're a I don't want to insult her.
She's not an adult.
I lived in a brownstone in Kenwood. It wasn't close enough to Lake and Hennepin, so I moved to 33rd and Fremont so I could walk to Uptown.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And never got mugged once at 2, 3 in the morning.
And forgive me if you guys mentioned this. I was dealing with something. But how about the fact when him and Ruben are walking down a beautiful day, an absolutely picture-perfect day.
In front of the Uptown?
And he said, all of these rooftops are empty.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's nobody here.
Mm-hmm. And in Ward 5, you've got Jeremiah Ellison. He passed himself off as a DFLer. He's not even there. He's at Harvard. He's drawing his city salary, but he's pretending to be some sort of fellow. You got Jamal Alsman, and I'll apologize directly based on his name. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. That makes me a racist, probably.
Islamophobe.
Katie Cashman is vacuous, and she's got an interesting educational background, but she says things like, if you turn off your lights, your electric bill will go down.
That's Ward 7 for Katie.
God almighty, woman. You're hopeless. Andrea Jenkins, of all people, has a head on her shoulders.
Ward 8, George Floyd Squares.
Yeah. Ward 9 is Jason Chavez, who I find just an embarrassingly out-of-touch fellow. He's in touch with the crackpots who show up at the caucus. Ward 10 is Chugtai. Ward 11 is Emily Koski. I'm sure she passes herself off as a DFLer, as does, Oren Chardhary. Is that her name? What the hell's her name? Chaudhary. She is a DSA. Linnea Palmisano is not a DSA, but calls herself a DFLer. But Minneapolis, you've got to decide: are you a DFL town or a DSA town? There's a tremendous difference. Tremendous difference.
I'm surprised that the people in Ward 13, 11, and 12 have allowed this city to get to where it is. Those are the southernmost wards from Edina all the way over to St. Paul. And there are a lot of highly taxable incomes in those neighborhoods. The middle ward, Ward 11, it's, as far as I know, it's all blue-collar folks, even around Nokomis.
Ward 4 is Latricia Vita. She is not a socialist. Ward 3 is Michael Rainville. To the best of my knowledge, he is not a socialist. Ward 2 is Wansley, and Ward 1 is Elliot Payne, who, by his voting record, is a committed socialist.
Which is surprising for that part of Minneapolis to me. Again, that seems to me hardworking union members, blue-collar guys, construction workers, office workers.
But does it matter?
Yeah, good question. Does
Joe,
it?
they all voted in alignment with these people.
But
And they have enough members to override any veto of Fry. They can veto Fry.
Chris, what I've been saying, and I think it's true, although I can't get you guys to agree, I think the reason these people are in office is because not enough people are voting. Not enough people are taking part in it.
But enough of the intramural hot burning coal at the center of this movement, they do attend the caucus.
Yeah, the activists.
I just went back and listened to part of that. I wanted to make sure I got the quote right from Chug Tai in the show last night, where she's doing the interview. I think Rick said it was with the Wedge.
Somebody else, yes.
The Wedge, yeah. And she says the people that live there and us, we don't, and very dismissively says, we don't care about the economic development in that area.
Yeah,
And
she said
just,
that.
Then she just does this with her hand, like, get that out of here.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I mean,
That's she's not.
If it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break.
Okay, our buddy Pat, I wrote down his numbers. This is from Pat Garofalo. In 3 years, more people moving out than were moving in. A net loss of $500 billion of Minnesota wealth
No,
has
500
moved.
million.
No, billion. Minnesota has lost $500 million of adjusted gross income to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Minnesota is also net negative with Iowa and South Dakota. Taxes. Minnesota is among the highest income tax states in the nation. Corporate set at 9.8%. The number one highest corporate tax rate in the nation. Capital gains in Minnesota, 9.85, second highest. Minnesota estate tax, 13 to 16%, among the highest. That's among the highest in the nation if it's over $3 million.
Ideally, in an American city, no matter who you are, you should feel like you're able to flourish.
Yeah, opportunity.
And if you're and by flourishing, that means economically getting by, being safe as you walk to the corner to get your car, attending a ball game or going to the theater or dining out or working in your yard, having a yard. That should be pretty much a basic given of American life, is that you should sense that you're in a country where you can flourish. And I don't know where I'm going with this.
But
and
you-
get
but no-
yourself debt free.
But you don't feel that here. Is that what you're getting at?
You feel for every step forward you make, 2 steps are taken backwards by the people who are demanding more and more of your money. And as this Howard Root fellow wrote, he wouldn't mind. He started minding paying that money when he realized how inefficiently it was spent. How inefficiently this government has grown. Now we're at the state level, but Minneapolis is no different. He had a segment, Kupchella had a segment showing how instead of police, we were paying violence interrupters. Right. That is a scam, ladies and gentlemen. That doesn't work. That was just paying people off for their silence. Yep. That has nothing to do with stopping crime. Police are needed. We are governed by people in the majority of the city council, not Latricia, not Rainville, Maybe not Andrea Jenkins. We are governed by people who don't even want police.
How about your quote right there? Maybe not Andrea Jenkins.
Yeah.
That's our hope.
The big question, it sounds like, is how does the DFL separate itself from the DSA, and does it want to? You know what I mean?
John, I think you're right. When you look at the legislative body, let's jump back to the state. I bet you a majority of them are comfortable being DSA.
Ugh.
And I don't know. Is there how do DSA people consider DFLers as evil moderates or something?
Yeah. According
sure, yeah.
according to their agenda, they want to drive them out. They want to replace them. I was perusing the Minnesota version of the DSA, and that's one of their number one goals.
Well, other than that,
It's a hell of a time, isn't it?
really is, Joe. What do you got over there?
I'm looking. I mean, I got stuff.
While you're looking, a couple more things about Jason Chavez that I didn't realize. He was one of a few council members to approve $280,000 payable to homeless people to clean up their own trash.
Right.
The city offered 169 people housing to get out of being homeless. 9 accepted. These aren't
Chavez-
homeless camps. These are drug camps.
Chavez is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
He has no business being a representative of anything, much less a neighborhood.
We haven't even talked about the failed learning, or the failed academy portion of this show. And did you know what social emotional learning was before last night?
No.
Yes.
It's the biggest load of BS I've ever heard. It's stuff that mom and dad are supposed to be teaching you around the table at supper.
Minnesotans, we had it good for a long, long time. We didn't pay attention, and people clever enough to take advantage of that have moved in. It's that simple.
And we've got to reduce ourselves to their level and take them on their playing field. That's the only way we're going to win.
Take advantage of this great weather and get your garage door taken care of, either a new door or your current door tuned up. That's with Precision Door. A new door from Precision Door will increase the value of your home, save energy, improve security. And right now, GLers, from Precision Door, you can get $100 off a single door and $200 off a new double door. They send out a designer. You have a little consultation there, bing, bang, boom. If you like your current door, but she's making a racket, and that racket freaks you out because you don't want to come out on January 9th and have that sucker freeze up on you, they're offering a noisy door tune-up special. That's a 25-point safety inspection and a diagnostic. It's a value of close to $300. You can get it for $149. Book online at precisiondoormn.com or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate or book a noisy door tune-up with Precision Door.
Keep.
He's got in his ears. It's Joe Souchere, live from Garage Logic.
Oh, this is going to be a new thing, I think.
Hey,
Kenny's got an ad.
that's right.
We're supposed to be the ones, the big experts when it comes to these products we endorse, like Seafoam. We proudly all use it here, and we advise you also use it. But, and that's part of being a GLer, right? People helping people. But often it's the GLers that are teaching us new ways to use Seafoam products, including Bugs Be Gone. And I got some great advice from my very own son. Now, I'm not going to brag about this and this kid the way I did yesterday. I just want you to listen to this message I got from him on Wednesday evening. I was just sitting at a long red light trying to see the light through the fog of bugs on my windshield. So I reached my arm around behind me, grabbed the Bugs Be Gone out of the seat pocket, stuck my arm out the window, sprayed it down. By the time the light turned green, my windshield was clean. Now that is proactive, smart thinking from a very young GLer, knows how to use the product. Great advice. His old man waits till he gets to the gas station and does that whole thing and looks around to make sure people are looking at him, right? Not this kid. He knows what's up, and that's the great thing about you GLers. This Bugs Be Gone, it really, really is a true miracle, and it makes cleaning bugs fun and exciting and something you look forward to. You can find it wherever fine automotive chemicals are sold. If it's not there, bug the proprietor. Let's go. Let's get this stuff in the house. It's Bugs Be Gone from Seafoam, a wonderful local company with a global reach.
John, two quick notes before the news. The Mink weighs in. He watched the documentary, and he said he also went to the discussion afterward. And he said that was excellent. He saw 5 adults discussing what can be done to wrest a dying metropolis state from destruction and decay and put it back on a road to normal human-scaled civilization, and that is neither right nor left. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. And Downing notes, how's this for a summary of the mystery? In your lifetime, he's referring to me, in your lifetime, we've gone from a country concerned about electing a Catholic president to a country that elects Muslims to run cities and introduce Islamic law.
Holy crap. Yeah.
Here's John Haidt in his newsroom.
Thanks, Joe. I would have joined the Mink in that conversation, but I had to watch God's team move on in the playoffs after I watched a precarious state. So
I had nobody to root for with those two windbag teams.
That performance by the Red Sox, they looked like a bunch of Park League 10-year-olds.
John, will you pronounce the name of the New York Yankees rookie starting pitcher in last night's game?
Yeah, Schlittler.
Yeah, we were having some fun with that one at my house with the 13
Boy, there's somebody
10-year-old.
on the Yankees who was pictured on the field after the game with his girlfriend. And I've never seen anything like it.
Neither have any of us.
Wow.
Were apricots being canned?
No, they were just, embracing. And
Beautiful people.
Invisible.
Carl Ravitch.
I could have been standing right there.
Carl Ravitch did say, and I hope he was right, I haven't seen a New York Post today, obviously, but he said the back page will have the headline, Holy Schlit. Yeah. Of course it will. Yeah. So, all right.
Because we're all sophomores.
Are you done? Are you done now, John?
In the news. You want me to keep talking about the Yankees, Kenny?
No.
Moving on to play Toronto now, Kenny.
At Toronto.
I'm just bummed there's no games today. Let's go here.
I'm surprised by that. I really am.
Because you're going up against college football
Well,
tomorrow.
you got to give these teams a break.
Yeah, I suppose.
You get your toes.
Wait, are you getting euphorian on me? No. You're the one that's let's go here, guy.
I know, but they've played 3 straight days.
I wanted to get your opinion on the fella who skipped the ball game for the Cubs and went to Charlie Kirk's memorial.
Yeah.
Joe, because I know you hate it when their wives have kids.
Right.
And they skip
I would not have allowed him to go to the memorial.
I figured you probably wouldn't.
No.
That was
playing ball, you're playing ball.
I got you.
You want to go to a memorial, you wait till the season's over.
This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Update on a story we've had various days this week. That 22-year-old man used a foreign birth certificate to enroll as a teen at White Bear Lake Area High School this fall, according to the school district superintendent. The enrollment of Kevin Lubke has raised concerns about how an adult older than 21 managed to infiltrate a public school. According to White Bear Lake Area School Superintendent Wayne Kazmierczak, Lubke enrolled as a homeless, unaccompanied youth under the false identity of Kevin C. Perry Jr. Lubke had also registered for the school's football team, joining in 3 practices. He did not compete in any games, nor did he travel with the team, according to the superintendent. In total, he was enrolled for almost 4 full school weeks, September 3rd through the 29th. Kazmierczak said the district is obligated by law to enroll students who attest to be unaccompanied homeless youth, even if they lack documentation like academic records, immunizations, or proof of residency. Lubke used a foreign birth certificate that showed he was 18, complete with what appeared to be authentic watermarking and official stamps and seals. The superintendent said there was no indication that the document was anything less than authentic. Standard student enrollment requires parents to prove their child's age, address, and immunization history. State law also allows districts to ask for documentation like a passport, birth certificate, immunization record, or documents from previous schools.
Weren't Bill Murray and Gilda Radner the Lubkes back in
Lubkes.
when SNL was funny? Not the plumber would come over to their house. And,
Bill was not a Lubke. Remember, he would come to visit Lisa Lubke, who was Gilda Radner, and he'd always,
Wasn't that his role also in Kingpin, where he had the single moms club? Is that the same thing you're talking about?
Chris,
No,
we're
it's
going to do
not.
the news now.
He was
I
the-
just brought
he
up
was the
one thing.
boyfriend.
We're not going to do a film bio.
He was the boyfriend of Lisa Lubke.
Sorry, I was just like trying to add to the conversation because you're the one that effing brought up Bill Murray. So
The Rosemount police chief has been...
That Katie Cashman actually said that. She's a real environmental watchdog. She's on the city council, and she wants higher electric rates because she thinks that'll keep people from ruining the earth. Well, if you just turn off your lights, your bill won't be so high. Okay, thank you, Katie.
thanks for that look good sports.
Jesus, God in heaven.
The Rosemount police chief has been placed on leave, according to the city's website. In a public safety announcement yesterday, the city released the following statement. Police Chief Michael Dahlstrom is on leave, effective immediately. Deputy Chief Carson Thomas will be leading the department in his absence. The Rosemount Police Department and City of Rosemount remain committed to providing a high level of public safety services to the community. No further information is available at this time. As they said in the statement, they would supply no more details to 5 Eyewitness News. They reached out to the city and the police department for information, but did not get anything back.
Along those same lines, help me. Who was the politician when we were talking about inflation and the rising cost of goods said, well, if these people, these truckers wouldn't just drive so much. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, it's probably,
I don't remember who it was.
It's probably Harris.
That just didn't drive so much.
Stop delivering stuff.
What?
A man was sentenced to life in prison for strangling a woman to death in St. Cloud. 45-year-old Daniel Kenning was found guilty of premeditated first-degree murder and second-degree murder in September after a jury trial. Back in 2018, Kenning went to the St. Cloud Police Department and reported he had just killed someone. He brought officers to his home in St. Cloud where they found a dead woman. At that time, he told authorities he had met the woman at a wedding and they had recently talked on Facebook Messenger. He said he picked her up on September 29th. And court documents note he admitted to intentionally strangling her with one hand until she died. Kenning told an investigator that, quote, God had told him he needed to kill someone and that he would be able to resurrect them.
I bet God didn't tell him that. That's just my bet.
That's a safe assumption.
Yeah.
Kenning had been found not competent to stand trial until 2024. Star Tribune reporting the U.S. Department of Energy canceling 12 grants for energy projects in Minnesota, including a $464 million proposal to build large transmission lines in 7 states. The projects are part of a $7.5 billion in energy department cuts announced by the administration Wednesday, largely in blue states, as they pressure Democrats to vote for Republican plans to end the government shutdown. $70 million grant for an experimental long-duration battery system Xcel plans to use in Becker is on the termination list, which was provided by the Minnesota Congressional Office. The Trump administration is also targeting a $50 million grant for Duluth-based Minnesota Power to modernize a transmission line, according to the list.
I know God would not use profanity or foul language, but I often wonder if he gets embarrassed or disappointed. But I wonder if he looks down here at Minneapolis once in a while and he sees Chugtai is the head of the budget committee. I wonder if he turns to one of the angels and says, "Are you shitting me?"
That'd be a strong statement from God.
That would be, it would be.
Look at this. Are
you kidding me? Are you kidding
She
me?
said turn the lights off.
What are they doing? Yeah.
Along those same lines of elected officials, we did get an email from loyal listener Mark Campbell on the town council saying if you want to put an end to all these people running for city council,
Get rid of the
also
caucus system.
Mike Lindell, have him on the show.
Okay.
I thought that was a good one.
Well, he's not that clever. There's about 100 listeners who are warning us, don't have so-and-so on. They'll lose.
Well, he's saying to get them out, bring them on the show.
Yeah, the people you
but
don't
see, they
like.
won't come on.
That's a good
I've
point.
asked you for a year to get Jason Chavez.
Well, we've had Mike Lindell on the show.
We have, back in the pillow days. I wouldn't sell a pillow tomorrow if you paid me $1 million.
Why don't we take a break at this point?
Oh, yeah, Rook would
we have
sign
other
up
people
tomorrow.
on the staff who would do it.
He'd raise both hands.
Chris Reavers has a message.
Hi.
Maybe he's selling pillows. I don't know.
No, I'm not. In fact, what I am going to talk to you about is my friends at North American Banking Company. One simple philosophy with my friends at North American Banking Company, and that's this. It's banking done differently. And you do get that feeling anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and also Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other big national banks. Whether you're looking to buy a home, or you're looking for directions on your phone, or whether you're looking to finance a new home renovation project, my friends at North American Banking Company are going to be able to help you out. And they offer the same online and mobile banking options as those other big national banks. But the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. And here's the biggest thing. They are locally owned and operated. And that means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. So this helps all of you business owners solve problems quickly and expand your business with confidence. So check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
Fighting the demagogues of diversity, it's Joe Souchere.
Say, I apologize. You heard my phone during your little chat there for North American.
Yes.
The reason the volume was on is I was afraid to turn it off the past few days because I've been awaiting a call from Joe Thompson.
Oh.
He did call yesterday. I forgot to turn the volume down. Here's the irony. He's dying to come on. We had a great chat. He's going to come on with us. Get this. No, they cannot engage in any media during the shutdown.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, he can't. He can't come on during the shutdown.
Here, I thought you were going to say he can't come on because he doesn't have 5 seconds to breathe.
No, you can't come on because of the shutdown.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Do you have this? I see. Well, it's that time.
Hey!
Here's the GLer of the week. It is, are you ready? Forest Lake. They're getting excited now in Forest Lake. Who is it in Forest Lake? It's none other than Matthew Linder.
Yes,
from Forest
it
Lake.
is.
Yes, it is. Here's the shipping information. Matthew.
no,
I
we
don't have to
give
do
that
that.
out, no.
Right. But Matthew, you get the syrup and the seasoning and the whole deal for Masters Maples.
That's right. And you can sign up by upgrading to a annual town council membership. And you can do that today at garagelogic.com.
Okay, congratulations, Matthew Linder of Forest Lake.
Nice.
In national and international news, President Trump has given Hamas a firm deadline to accept a U.S. peace plan for Gaza, saying all hell will break out against the group if it's not met. The president wrote on his Truth Social platform today that an agreement has to be reached by 5 o'clock our time, Sunday afternoon. The plan proposes an immediate end to fighting and the release within 72 hours of 20 living Israeli hostages held by Hamas, as well as the remains of hostages thought to be dead, in exchange for hundreds of detained Gazans. Arab and Turkish mediators are understood to be pressing Hamas for a positive response to the proposal, but a senior Hamas figure has said the armed group is likely to reject it. The president has declared the U.S. is now at war with drug cartels deemed by the White House as terrorist groups, giving the legal rationale to U.S. military strikes on boats in the Caribbean Sea last month. Trump determined the United States is in what he called a non-international armed conflict with the designated terrorist organizations, according to a notice that was sent to the National Security Congressional Committees. The notice did not name any of the cartels now deemed terrorist organizations to be targeted. The Pentagon also has not provided a list of the designated organizations that are part of the effort. That caused some frustration to some of the lawmakers who were briefed by the administration.
Can I ask a really, really dumb question? Or
How would that
may I?
make a difference?
Well, that's a good point. Who in God's name would possibly object to this?
Well, it's
Object to
see,
what?
it would, I agree in principle with what you're saying, but it would violate international law if you're just blowing people up
All right.
anywhere, for
Okay.
no reason.
All right. That's what that again. I did preface this by saying, "May I ask a dumb question?"
It wasn't that dumb.
All right.
Oh, you changed your mind quick, didn't you?
Remember how dumb I used to be?
I'm better now.
Government shutdown continues. Some national polls say, well, they're kind of mixed, actually. And in fact, a lot of people just don't know who to blame, according to all the polls. A Washington Post poll conducted October 1st, the first day of the shutdown, said 47% of U.S. adults blame Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress. 30% blame Democrats, and 23% said, I don't know.
not sure.
I'm just not sure.
Well, John, it stands to reason that if you've got a lot of people who don't even know who their city council person is, it's just as likely they don't even know the government shut down.
Probably, yeah.
What's fun is it depends on what the political stance is of whatever periodical or newspaper you're reading.
Yeah.
It's either Schumer's shutdown or Trump's
Absolutely.
shutdown.
And they do this
it's
every
so funny.
These happen throughout the course of history.
Yeah.
A top Air Force commander, General Thomas Boussier, announcing his retirement for personal and family reasons. The timing of this has raised a few eyebrows because it came right after just hours after Pete Hegseth held that meeting with top military officials in Quantico, where he announced he was raising fitness standards and overhauling the military's internal complaint and investigation process. According to Boussier's statement, he said, after much reflection and with full heart, Barb and I have made a difficult decision to request retirement from the United States Air Force for personal and family reasons. Boussier headed the Air Force Global Strike Command.
Hegseth is about one panel short of being a Doonesbury cartoon.
There's
What do you mean?
He
by
reminds me of somebody who would appear in Doonesbury.
because of the things he's done?
Yeah. Some of the things are very cartoonish to me.
Like
saying dudes in dresses, man, and which I happen to agree with.
okay, that's all I wanted to establish.
Yeah,
Well, now we can move on.
All right.
tomorrow.
I was trying to catch
No,
you
I
in my
agree with
trap,
it.
Joe.
I agree with
Okay.
it.
All right, all right.
The Drudge. Where did I get Drudge? Oh, yeah. The Drudge Report has Peggy Noonan's article from tomorrow's Wall Street Journal. She writes every Saturday, as you probably know,
Yes,
Joe.
she does.
She goes after Pete pretty hard.
I'll have to read it.
Yeah.
He's Forest Lake's own, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. Firefighters were still pouring water this morning onto a fire that broke out the night before at a Chevron oil refinery just outside Los Angeles, sending towering flames into the air. Those flames, if you've seen the video, visible for miles. Officials in El Segundo, California, urged people to stay indoors, but by early today, the fire was contained and no threat to public safety. According to that statement, no evacuations had been ordered. Residents near the Chevron El Segundo refinery described feeling a rumble and then seeing the flames very high in the sky. The El Segundo Police and Fire Departments did not immediately comment on the fire, which appeared to have erupted suddenly. No word on the cause.
I saw a very eerie video of nighttime flights departing with that fire in the background.
I'm trying to find it, but there was a piece done on the rebuilding efforts in that area for Los Angeles and fires and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
This is criminal.
Well, of course it is. It's California.
But Karen Bass had recently signed some legislation, and everyone's saying, "Wait a minute here, we haven't done anything. You haven't helped us whatsoever." But she was more worried about building a new convention center.
I see.
And there was a big hoopla about that.
I once left my wallet in El Segundo.
Was there anything in it?
Got to get it. Got to get it.
What the hell is he doing?
You caught
ahead,
one,
John.
Kenny. You caught one.
Yeah, yeah. Just went racing over everybody's head. That's all right.
Oh, I figured it was a song lyric, but I'm not familiar.
I'm a dumb sap
confess.
thinking, I wonder why he lost his wallet in El Segundo.
You mean like almost the same time when Rookie asked you on the air one time if you had mutton last night?
Right. And I answered him. What a dummy I am.
My mom's left town and left the keys for her car there, and me and my buddies went to El Segundo.
Segundo.
Got to get it. Got to get it.
Who is he? What song is it? Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't
as
know.
long as he's
Let's-
going to be an
just-
interrupter.
Just move on. Let's just move on.
Well, I'm going to have to look it up during the break, I suppose, then. From the Joe, here's one for your fast food reality show. A woman in Kentucky arrested after she allegedly caused property damage at a Little Caesars pizza shop because they charged her an extra $1 for some extra sauce.
Oh, no.
Brianna,
How
Wasn't
could
this
that
one of the
be?
greatest segments in GL history was centered around this very
It
subject?
was a little, I think it was Little Caesars.
Yes, it was.
Brianna Haynes allegedly caused more than $1,000 worth of damage at the Louisville pizza shop after she arrived to pick up an order in January. According to court documents, Haynes asked the employee for extra sauce and was told that would cost her $1. Her charging documents say that she became angry after she was told about the $1 and notes that an employee at the shop had already given her some sauce for free, but she wanted more.
This is really ringing a bell.
Police say she then created a disturbance in the store before she began knocking items off the counter, including the register and a custom-made computer stand. Investigators reviewed surveillance video from the shop that allegedly showed Haynes' outburst at the store. She wasn't taken into custody until last week when police intervened in another unrelated incident. According to court documents for the new incident, Haynes allegedly threw a brick at a car belonging to the father of her child. She allegedly was upset that he was
Is this
planning.
still the sauce story?
Yeah, this is the same woman. This is how she got arrested for the
God,
pizza
almighty,
sauce story.
it's all really ringing close to home here.
The woman is wreaking havoc everywhere she goes.
Oh, this is terrible. This reminds me of a jam that our friend Rook got into.
It seriously happened.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
I went to Little Caesars to get pizza last night.
I'm shocked.
I've already lost.
I
What'd
know.
tell you?
You know
What'd I
what?
tell you?
Rook did call this. He goes, as soon as I mention Little Caesars, I'm going to lose Joe.
Oh, you lost me, but I'm trying to remember. I'll try to pay attention.
We were on the go, and it's scheduled, and it's affordable.
Are they any good? Little Caesars?
Yeah. If you go in, let me just explain quickly. If you go in for a hot and ready pizza, it's $5 or it's $8 if you get the 3 meat. If you have to wait, you get a free bag of crazy bread.
The 3 meat. You're just so schooled in the world of
it's
fast food, aren't
if
you?
it's hot, if it's fresh,
Hot
it's
and ready.
delicious though.
It
So
is
I
good
went in.
stuff, though,
I was directed to get a 3 meat and a pepperoni. Pepperoni was ready. 3 meat was not.
Right.
You're supposed to get an order of crazy bread for free if you wait like I did.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
she didn't
See,
offer
I wouldn't
this.
know that.
I know you wouldn't know this, but this
What's
is
crazy bread?
breadsticks.
Breadsticks.
Garlic type breadsticks. They're
And
pretty
they
good.
give you the different kind of sauces too.
Good stuff.
You dip the bread in them?
Oh,
yeah,
All right. Yeah.
And so I kind of hinted to the gal, and an order of crazy bread. I have to wait there. Well, she charged me for it.
Well, that's not in the
That's
rules.
okay. I kept my mouth shut and I just said it's $3.50.
What are you
It's
going to
okay.
do? Well, yeah.
When I got my change, because I did not put it on debit credit, I paid in cash.
No, that I would have had trouble with that too.
I took the cash receipt, put it in my pocket.
Right.
Well, today, having the same cash with me, coins and cash, I realized I had 2 Susan B. Anthony's
So with your dollars, right?
and 3 dimes.
Yeah.
And my change was 80 cents.
Yeah.
So she gave me $2.30.
$1.30.
$2.30 instead of 80 cents.
Well, $1.30.
What did she think she was giving you? Quarters?
Yes.
We'll take them
Yes.
back to her.
Well, that was my. I didn't realize that until just now, and so what I've done is when I went and saw Randy on Cleveland at the Pro Stop there,
Yeah.
I bought a Mega Millions
Yep.
and a Go for 5,
Right.
and if I win.
Yeah.
And at the press conference, I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to gleefully hand $2 back to Little Caesars. Now, do you think I've stolen money?
Yes.
I did not get my free crazy bread.
That's true.
I had to pay $3.50. That's my dilemma.
You paid $3.50 for the crazy bread, which you were supposed to get for free.
Yes.
But your total bill your total bill included the fee for the crazy bread.
Right. It was $21.20 or
You
something.
gave her
like
what?
that. $25.
$25.
I got some bills and 80 cents.
And what were you
What I thought
supposed to
was
have
80
been?
cents.
What were you supposed to have gotten back in change?
2 quarters and 3 dimes.
2 quarters. So instead
80 cents you were supposed to have gotten back in change.
in coins, yes.
So you gave her I don't know what you gave
25, let's say, and it was $21.20. So I've got the correct amount of bills, I
her.
would
If it was
assume.
25 and you were supposed to get 80 cents, then the bill was $24.20.
No, but I got bills as well. So I'm just worried about the coins here.
Yeah.
She gave me $2.30 instead of 80 cents in coins.
Yeah. Oh,
But I didn't get free crazy bread.
I think in the cosmic scheme of things, the fact that you were punished on the crazy bread
Well, that's why I felt guilty, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy 2 lottery tickets.
probably. Well, I tell you what.
It's Friday the 13th.
If you win, what's the most you could win in the lottery?
I don't know.
Is it
Go
the
for
mega?
five.
Is it the
Go
mega
for
deal?
5 is like 300
I was
grand,
gonna say it's a couple hundred
300,000.
You
grand.
got to go back and give her $1,000. You got to. I mean,
Yeah.
you really because that money that you got the tickets was her money. You got to go back and give her $1,000 if you win. them.
$100.
Yeah, $100, something. Why are you such
Grand to
a
100.
cheap?
No, I'm not worried
Word
about her
I can't say
prize.
on
I'm
radio.
worried about I felt guilty when I realized that I didn't get, because normally I would have said, well, hey, you gave me the wrong change here. And I would have corrected the situation right there.
But you didn't look at it. You put it in your
I
pocket.
just put it in my pocket.
Yeah, I
Want to
think
run all
you're
the
off
calls too?
I really, I've been on the radio a long time, and
I felt guilty though, and then I spent
I
the money.
understand. I've been on the radio a long time, and this is the first time crazy bread has ever come.
Well, and the other thing, Joe, you've got to think about.
You know what? And I hope it never comes up
Well,
again.
okay.
Yeah.
The
yes, Chris.
The one thing we're not adding into this equation, though, Rook had the added change, to his order in exchange for the goods that he received.
Yeah, just a minute.
But you're not figuring into the free advertising that they just got on the
right.
show.
But now,
they're
I at the risk of belaboring this, I need to know something.
Boy, I wish I had the receipt with me still.
Maybe you do.
No. A couple of more Susan B. Anthony's. So let's just say it was $21.20. That's what my bill. $22.20. That's what my
you
bill
can
came to.
stop it.
22.
It just gets
And the
it gets
phone
better
lines
though. It gets better.
exploded. I don't think we've ever had more calls than that. How long ago do you think that was?
2013.
I have
crap.
never been able to pay attention to that bit. I still don't know what it's about.
Oh.
I zone out.
He got an extra
instantly.
$1.50.
Well, it involved
Okay.
buying crazy bread. or-
If you say
Why don't we
so.
take a break and because we've got Pat, John. We forgot we have Pat.
That's right.
We're just nuts, aren't we?
Long show.
We're all nuts. And that's We Are Nuts and wearenutsmn.com. Handmade small batches right here in the great state of Minnesota. And you know what? It's a wonderful family-owned operation. And here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, for all of you either business owners or people that want to take care of some clients, get your holiday tins ordered today because, man, oh man, do those orders add up fast. I know it's tough to think about right now because it's only, October 3rd? But I'm telling you, get ahead of the game right now because they have a wonderful selection of those holiday tins for you to take care of clients, family, business, whatever the case might be. The specialty gift tins are available right now for order at wearenutsmn.com. All sorts of different selections, whether it's the toffee peanuts. You can also get the large whole cashews, which I know is a big hit in the Souchere household, but they have a wonderful selection. So just go to wearenutsmn.com, place that order, and please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic podcast.
Hey, Pat.
Yes, Joseph.
No baseball today on TV.
No baseball today, but 3 of the 4 went the distance. Do you know that in the first 3 years of this system, we only got to the 3rd game twice in 12 games? They were all 10 sweeps, but this time we had 3. And is Johnny there? I got to tell Johnny something.
Oh, yeah.
He's here.
I'm here.
Johnny?
Yes, sir.
This was day 3 of the playoffs. We got another month, and I am already sick of crowd shots of anguished Yankee fans with their little bratty kids sitting in the second row like they know what's going on, the little SOBs. Leave them home where they belong. They shouldn't be in a $900 seat in the second row acting like jackasses. So
There you are.
I am sick of crowd shots. You know what I hate most about the baseball playoffs? Crowd shots and the dugout interviews. And
I don't like the dugout interviews.
they never tell us anything. It's an annoyment. It's just.
I think you just made up a new word.
Annoyment?
Annoyment.
No, I did.
It's a new word.
Annoyment.
Yeah, it's a plural of annoyment, isn't it? No,
It's like annoyment.
Kenny, you're an annoyment.
Yes. Anyway, no more crowd shots, please.
Okay. Noted.
I mean, once in a while, but also, Joe, as we progressed through this, I was watching the game and like the Cleveland game. So about the 8th inning, you'd have to stand up when they were rallying. Now, and by the 3rd game, we're already in the 2nd inning. When we get to 2 strikes, we got to stand up.
Got to stand up. You don't like
Sit
that.
out and watch the ball game.
Yeah. You're going to lose that battle. The modern fan is a stander.
Oh, we do like to stand.
Oh, God, stander. In fact, if you don't stand, you're considered a horrible human being because you're not, you're not fully supporting the team. Why do they have chairs? If they don't want you to sit, why are they even chairs? Why don't we be like soccer? Just everybody go over there and stand and then get drunk and fight. It'll be great. So,
say, who was your favorite in the marathon? Got to pick a favorite.
I think the Ethiopian's going to get upset by a Pakistani this year.
All right, that's a good pick.
Ethiopian. No,
What if we cancel it though because of the heat?
I think an Indian will triumph over an Ethiopian.
Did we? How warm was it last year when they?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. How warm was it?
Well, it wasn't that so much as it was really high humidity. And what they got going for them Sunday is it's going to supposedly wind gusts to 40 miles an hour.
I saw that.
So there's your nation's area. That'll dry your pits
You
off.
want that at your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a south wind, so quite a bit of the tournament will be in the wind.
I think that 26 miles would be a little tough for me anyway, but throwing that 35 mile an hour wind might not get to the finish.
I was
Could
going to
slow
run
you
it, but
down.
the wind.
No, that could slow you down.
Yeah, that would. I made it 120 yards, but then that damn wind got me. So I only had 26 miles to go. So.
Patrick, don't say I never did anything for you, but I already got your column ready. Are you ready, sir?
What's that?
Do you know what yesterday was? Yesterday
Thursday.
was
Yesterday was Katie Dillon's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Katie.
Yeah,
yesterday was the 20th anniversary of the Love Boat.
Oh, boy. 20 years already, huh?
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
sir. You are welcome.
Gene, Dante, you want to talk about the Bears and the boat? Worst question ever asked in the history of Twin Cities journalism by our guy Gene Harrington. What do you think he's going to say, Gene? I think he's going to say Bears.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, if the guys just would have been by normal human beings and whizzed off the side of the boat as they were coming in, instead of waiting to get behind Gladys Kravitz's tree, we would have never had it. We would have ever even known about it,
Nope.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything would have been just fine.
Yeah.
Yes. They got some gal looking out to making sure nobody's peeing in her yard at 10:30 at night.
And that did lead to the greatest touchdown celebration in the history of the National Football League when Steve Smith scored on whoever, Fred Smoot, and then started to row the boat in the dugout as he was sitting on his butt.
I don't think that they would. We'd march off 15 yards against the fellow these days.
Oh,
we?
for sure, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Do you think we'll honor that in London on Sunday with the big?
I wonder if they'll look back at that.
I don't think a victory over Cleveland's a done deal.
I don't either, actually.
I do, because they're going to their rookie quarterback who was the Flacco was so rotten they're playing it. And I think this guy was a third-round draft choice. How bad is Shader that we'd rather play this guy than him?
Well, I believe Flacco is even listed as the backup. That Shader isn't even on.
Really?
Yeah.
He had an injury there I don't know how he got injured. He didn't play, but I think Shader had some injury. But
what about McCarthy? That's a pretty long injury for a toe.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. I think you're gonna see him week after next, unless Wentz lights it up, and I don't think he will.
Mm-hmm.
Wentz has been mediocre. Wentz has been mediocre enough so that you can just put McCarthy back in, and it doesn't become a controversy. I would say, now if McCarthy comes back in and plays like he did in the second game that he played, then there'll be some second guessing. But if he comes back and shows some degree of competence, then I don't think.
Who do the Fighting Gophers have?
Oh,
they have the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Well, there's a loss.
Number one ranked,
and it's a night
game. Number one ranked team in the country.
Here or at Ohio State?
It's at Ohio State. At the shoe, as we like to say.
The numbers are really high, though, isn't it? Is it 23?
Pat, do you know what the Ohio State defense is allowing in points this year? Their defense is averaging 5.2 points allowed.
Ooh.
Yes, but they never had to face Drake Lindsay.
That's true. They just held Washington at home to 6 points.
Boy, our boys could be in trouble.
Yes, it's going to be a bad game for the Gophers.
I was looking at a newspaper from 50 years ago, Stillwater and Richfield playing for the state football championship.
Mm-hmm.
And next to it is a John Rowe story. So this is 1975. on the Gophers going to Ohio State to play number 1 ranked Ohio State with Archie Griffin, who was, is he not stand still as the only back-to-back Heisman Trophy
I
winner?
covered that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I think
Wow.
so. Yeah.
Wow. I don't think we edged him. Archie was,
No.
Ohio State's had a pretty good football run here. It's about, it goes back to about 1938, I think, or so. They had a couple bad years where the guy went like 8-4, and they escorted him out of town. But they take it seriously there.
Any moment now, too, the NHL season begins for real.
Yes, it does. You know what my thought was last night watching the game, watching some of the games? Runs in baseball now in the playoffs are as hard to score as goals in hockey.
Well, that's hard.
2-1, 3-2. It's always. I mean, there's these games. The pitching's too good. We got to do something. We got to, we got to get to the pitching. But yes, the NHL season started. We got Kaprizov signed. Nice deal. And we will win the cup with Kaprizov. Not all of us might be around.
Kenny's going to drive to your house and wring your neck, Patrick.
We got 9 years, for God's sake.
Got 9 years to win the cup.
Kenny, I'll be gone, and you won't know what planet you're on. So don't worry.
We're both almost there right now.
That's right. Yeah. Kenny, they won the cup, huh? What's that?
Yeah.
Do what now?
I got to look here.
Cup of what?
When are we opening the season?
Don't we? I thought
we're in St. Louis on Wednesday or Thursday, and then home against Columbus again this year on Saturday night, I believe.
That's
With,
your whole. They got a game at Chicago this Sunday, and then nothing until next Thursday at St. Louis. That must be the lid lifter.
Chicago's an exhibition game.
The St. Louis game must be the season.
Yes,
huh?
it is. And then Columbus is here Saturday or Sunday? Saturday.
I don't know. Your calendar doesn't go out that far.
Well, I know Dean, our guy Dean, who survived a year at Columbus, is back as the coach for Columbus. And they opened with Columbus for the second consecutive year.
Did we fix that pothole on West 7th yet so fans can get to the game?
Yes, I was down there yesterday. It's
All right,
fixed.
good.
It's fixed. Pat, we'll talk to you Monday.
All righty.
Thank you.
You ready?
For
this.
I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904,
finally, thank God today is Friday. TGTI Friday. It's the Scramble!
It is, and it's always brought to us by our friends at Harmony Spirits down there in beautiful Harmony, Minnesota. Man, oh man, we are beating the man right now with this weather. Head on down to go stop in that tasting room in Harmony, Minnesota. Say hi to Todd and Damon and the entire crew. But you know what you can also do? this weekend down in my hometown of Faribault, Minnesota. Todd Francis and Severe Logic are going to be at the Faribault Car Show, and he will be representing Harmony Spirits Distillery. If you haven't checked out Severe Logic, you should. And if you haven't met Todd, he's an amazing guy. You can find out more of this information on the Harmony Spirits Distillery Facebook page. Guess where this is taking place, Joe? The Faribault Car Show.
In Faribault.
Teepee Tonka Park, where one of us used to just rock moonshots off of those pictures in Faribault, Minnesota.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, anyway. But that's really cool. In fact, I'm going to be in the area. I might have to stop by and say hi to the fellas. But here's what you can do, ladies and gentlemen. You should go into your local liquor store, ask for the Harmony brand by name. That fall menu is rocking and rolling right now at the distillery. So many great selections. The Big Buck, which is gin, pear, lemon juice, and ginger beer. The Cran Grin Fizz, the caramel apple, the maple nut goodie. They do such an amazing job with their handcrafted spirits at Harmony, Minnesota. But please, like I mentioned before, stop in, say hi to the crew, and please mention that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic podcast. Cheers.
Here's a little news about the marathon Sunday.
Yes.
It was canceled in 2023. It was too hot and humid. So far, there's no talk of canceling this one at all. But get this now, because I got some questions. Medical directors with Twin Cities in Motion, which puts on the marathon, say races on Saturday and Sunday are likely to start under yellow flag conditions. So Sunday, you start the marathon with yellow flags. That means a slower pace is recommended for runners.
Wait a minute.
Well, okay. At what point do you decide, well, the hell with this? I'm taking off.
Yeah, you all should slow down.
Why don't you all slow down while I take off here? As each day continues, conditions are expected to reach red flag conditions, meaning runners should consider sitting out, especially if they have heart problems.
Oh.
Well, I got a question for you.
Sure.
If you got a heart problem,
why are you running a
what
marathon?
the hell are you doing in the marathon?
Well, you could have a heart, like Kenny and I are heart patients. We could be in shape.
And neither of you will ever run a marathon if you live to be 500 years old.
But it's got nothing to do with my heart condition.
I can't even run to the bathroom. Yeah. I'll have an accident before I start running.
Well, you could probably Royce walk a marathon.
So they got to go. They got a red flag at Sunday. They could be, people could be sitting on park benches by the time this thing's done, and then some fast Ethiopian will scamper by.
Right.
Scamper.
I know you make light of it, but I do recall one year when Jess ran Duluth, and it was they almost canceled it, and I almost had to take her to the emergency room when she was done. It was that bad.
I can imagine. I don't know anyone who would say, and I just got to put a word in. The ICE people, they raided a roofing crew in St. Paul on the north end. They took them off the roof. I disagree.
Let them finish the job.
Finish the damn roof. What about the guy who hired him? What's he supposed to do now? Now there's no roofing crew.
And Dark's gone.
They were working, for God's sakes. They weren't committing crimes. They were out working. What else do you want to know?
What time is it?
Oh, the hell with that.
Long show today, isn't it?
Well, only because they come to us all the way from the Traveling Lymans in Barcelona, Spain. But first, Tom Lyman offers this note. Some of the many reasons we left Minnesota to engage in their travels. He said, Tom writes, my ancestors came to Minnesota before it became a state. When people say they can't afford to leave Minnesota, we discovered we couldn't afford to not leave Minnesota. In 2011, our last full year living in Minnesota, our property taxes in Chanhassen, Carver County, Minnetonka School District was $12,000. Half payable twice a year. What are you complaining about? May and October. I can't even imagine what these would be now. Oh, I can. We left Minnesota on my last day that I went to work, signed the paperwork, Halloween 2012, changed residence to Nevada. The following happened, which I didn't expect, but was grateful it did. My 70 days of vacation pay, 70 personal leave days, and holiday pay. Thanksgiving Day, the day. Okay, what is he telling me? He got a total of 86 days pay that was not taxed by Minnesota because they had moved to Nevada.
Brilliant.
Now, this year, 2025, I have to start withdrawing RMD, required minimum distribution on my IRA, if the money Of the monies, I deducted a Minnesota income tax for 40 years. Yes, I will pay some extra federal IRS tax due to not deducting any state income tax, but it's like getting an additional return. Minnesota, I got it, Tom. I know why you left. You're just having a ball with traveling, and these come to us from Barcelona, Spain. It was on this day.
Joe, today is October 3rd.
Well, it was on this day in 1887 that horse cars began hauling passengers in St. Cloud. It was on this day,
October 3rd.
In 1951, that David Winfield was born in St. Paul. Maybe the most versatile athlete the state has ever known. Based on his performance at the U of M, professional teams in 3 different sports, basketball, football, and baseball, drafted him. His choice was baseball, and he played for several teams, including the Twins. 12 All-Star Game appearances, 3,110 career hits, 465 home runs, and into the Hall of Fame in 2001.
Rooted for him every year except when he played for the Yankees.
On this day,
today is October 3rd.
In 1977, Rosalie Wall was the first female justice appointed to the state Supreme Court.
Huh.
On this day,
Joe, today is October 3rd.
1997, international passenger ship traffic returned to Minnesota when the Columbus, carrying a load of German passengers, visited the Duluth Superior Harbor. And on this day in sports disappointment history.
Not Love Boat related?
No. On this day in, well, let's see here. Could be. On this day in sports disappointment history.
Today is October 3rd, Joe.
1982, the Twins ended the season losing their 102nd game of the year, the second worst record in franchise history.
That's when we opened the Dome.
That's right. On this day,
October 3rd.
In 1997, Carl Pohlad signed a letter of intent to sell the Twins to Don Beaver.
Don Beaver, North
that
Carolina.
Never panned out, did it?
Well, yeah, because he didn't have any money.
Right. October 3rd. On this day,
October 3rd.
2017, the Twins lost to the Yankees in a wild card game, 8-4.
In which they had a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the first
A lot
inning.
of disappointment in sports today, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, are you done there?
Yes.
Can I make a Q-tip? Can I make a reference you might understand? You know what also happens in Spain?
The bullfights.
The sun also rises.
Okay, Ernie.
Okay, he got that one.
Okay, Ernie.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. You got big plans for the weekend?
Thank you, GLers.
Hey, do us a favor if you haven't done so. You should
Wait. Emergency naked bike ride planned for Portland, Oregon to complain about the troops sent there. And Jordy has a good point. What a great name for a band. The Emergency Naked Bike Ride.
I like it.
That's cool.
Been there. Yeah.
Subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel where you can watch the show each and every single day. You can also see full segments, video shorts, there's behind the scenes footage, and follow us on all of our social media channels, which are very active these days. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic, and you can always find out more and sign up today at garagelogic.com.